Ladies and gentlemen, I have breaking news to report involving Shannon Sharpe and FS1's Undisputed and emerging candidate Lesean Mccoy, ladies and gentlemen, is looking like he will be the successor to the most entertaining man, the most electrifying man in sports media right now, in Shannon Sharpe. He has the world in the palm of his hands, waiting on his next move. Everybody's trying to figure out how will he be replaced. He's just become iconic. But I'm telling you, breaking six-time Pro Bowl NFL running back Lesean McCoy is emerging as an early possible contender to succeed Shannon Sharpe as Skip Bayless' debate partner on Undisputed. So this is being reported by numerous publications. Make sure you subscribe to Flight Sports TV for more updates, news, and more involving the Coach Prime situation. This is like I said, this has got everybody just in a frenzy right now. Last week, we all know Shannon Sharpe announced his departure from FS1. It was the hit show on Fox Sports right now, and we all know his co-host Skip Bayless. It was a lot of issues involving them too. We all know they had to replace this man with something decent, and I think that, in my opinion, people ain't happy, but they had to go the NFL route. Could they have went another direction? They had to bring in a guy from the NFL. You see it firsthand. I knew they would go this route. Now it's up to Lesean McCoy. Can he still do this thing? We all know his nickname, Shady. He's been doing his thing as well. We've seen him on TV. He's on one of the I believe the Fox Sports shows. I think it's called Speak. So I mean, he's got a lot of experience already for a few years. He is respected, but I mean, to be honest with you, whoever they picked, whoever was going to be the guy, or nobody was going to get a resounding effort. Obviously, they wanted Michael Irvin. People was advocating for him. I don't know why they didn't move in that direction. It's tough. It's going to be tough to find a guy to replace Shannon. I mean, I'm telling you. You needed to find a guy with that bravado. Can Lesean do that? Who knows? How does he fit with Skip? You knew what they was gonna do. You know what the route they was gonna take. They had to bring in a guy similar to Shannon, but they had to try. And I think that they're gonna fail. But he has to just come and do his own thing. He hasn't taken the job yet, so I'm not gonna sit up here and start just selling the job to the man, because he ain't been hired yet. But he is just emerging as an early candidate. Who knows if they could have made a run at Keyshawn Johnson, or even Max Kellerman. I mean, it would have been a lot. There's so many other names they could have tried to have gotten. That would have been good to see a Max Kellerman. You see, it didn't work out with him and Stephen A. Stephen A. seemed like he wanted him off the damn show. But that was crazy. I thought they had good chemistry too, and then they started to fall apart for whatever reason. I think it was due to the love that Max was receiving. Max was becoming a superstar on First Take, and I think he started to outshine Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. couldn't have that for whatever reason. But it is what it is at the end of the day, man. Undisputed is going to keep rolling on. That show is not going nowhere. Just because Shannon leaving, that don't mean that the show ends, Now, they done had a lot of different people. Joy Taylor, the list goes on. But it's looking like they're zeroing in on that man. Now, I want to know everybody's thoughts on what will be the backlash from him. Will he lose any friends from this? Because I think that Shannon Sharpe, when all that stuff went down, I truly believe that he received a lot of backlash from, I think, like some of his closest people, because he's an NFL guy. Now you bringing in another NFL guy, and Lesean, how is he going to deal with some of the backlash? Because the Damar Hamlin situation, we got to stop acting like that wasn't massive. That was heavy, and now how does he deal with it? Now you in that seat. What if Skip Bayless say something crazy to Lesean? Then what? How's Lesean gonna take that? That's gonna be the $1,000,000 question. But I don't know what they're gonna do. It's gonna be interesting to see. But this always happens when They all split up initially. You know, when they had brought in Shannon, people were skeptical on Shannon, but then they fell in love with him. When they brought in Max, it was, and then now it's like Stephen A is just running First Take by himself. He just bringing in all different kind of people every single day. There's nobody now that's just always there with him. I don't think Stephen A want a guy that's always locked in with him. I think he likes running his own program, you know, with nobody there, you know, or nobody feeling like they there every day with him. The First Take is his show and he has guests on it. And I think that's what they like, and it's working. You see the ratings doing this thing. Even when Undisputed, like I said, they go back to back between First Take and Undisputed. But if they don't nail this, I think that you got Stephen A, believe it or not, man, he's turning into a superstar of his own. You know, look what Stephen A is doing. You know, Stephen A is basically, getting it in. He's doing his own thing on YouTube. You know, so now his profile is elevating. I think people looked at Stephen A kind of shaky. And I think, you know, it's tough for them, you know, at the end of the day, because look who they're working for. They're working for some, you know, some conglomerates, you know, so you can't expect these guys to just be stepping out of left field, you know, all a single time, you know, but you guys watch their moves. You see, it's looking like independence. So it's looking like they want to do their own thing. That's what it's preaching to me. All of these, what are they on YouTube for? You're on ESPN doing all this. Why are you working on your own thing? So you clearly see what's happening here. These guys are trying to get, they're going to have their own stuff eventually. Stephen A and these guys, Shannon, they're going to build their platforms enough to where they don't need the network. The network needs them. You know, it's crazy. They could try to think they could fill in anybody, but once the people fall in love with that person, it's going to be seriously hard pressed to try to negate that, you know. And I believe that this is not the last we've seen of Shannon. Lesean, I think that time will tell. But what I will say is this: I'm not about to jump to any conclusions. They haven't hired Lesean McCoy yet. He's just emerging as an early front runner for this job, and he's likely a guy who could replace him. So if you are familiar with the way he speaks and he politics, sports, media, how does he fit in? We know how he talks football. How is he going to look on the basketball side? See, these are things that Shannon ended up developing. Shannon had connections too. All the people flock to Shannon. Are they going to flock to Lesean? That's the question, because they're not rocking with Skip. So, you know, you figure it out yourself. But we're going to leave it at that, man. It's breaking news, man. Shout out to everybody, man. It's Flight Sports TV. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe. We're going to continue to bring more news updates and more on the Shannon situation.